I don't know how well it's picking it up, but welcome back to Garage 86 in the snow. Kind of see it on my jumper. Just trying to find some small, easy mods to do because I don't want to do anything too big because obviously the MOT on March the 2nd. Because sadly March the 1st is a Sunday, so not going to get any MOT garages open then. But I've just been having a look through my big old box of stuff, and I'll let you know what I find that I can whack on. I was looking through that box and I found a few bits I don't need anymore. So I'll put some of these up on Marketplace or eBay or whatever. But this is the CT55 TY02, connects 2 parts. I'm pretty sure those are for the rear speakers. The TY01 here, which is, I think, for the front speakers. And then this standard ISO connector. Didn't use any of those because obviously I replaced the wiring or reran the wiring as such. Also found this TRD owner's manual. Well, it's just the book that the owner's manual can go in. It's got all the sort of bits in that the Japanese would put inside. There is a little bit of a mark on it there, but it's in pretty good nick. And you can see the TRD stuff on there, so that might be a good option for a UK owner. This is an AV escutcheon. There's the model number, which is actually Subaru's version of a kit that you put around your stereo so that it fits in better. So if you haven't, because I bought this not knowing, there's one side, and I haven't even opened that side, but yeah, you can see, so one goes like that, and then the other one on the other side. So it just hopefully cleans up the look of the stereo if you haven't got one that's designed to fit a Toyota or a Subaru. And then this was the original, what I thought was a UK cluster that I was going to put in the car before I put the 2017 cluster in. But what I noticed that was weird was one of the black tabs was snapped. So I figured it might have been opened before. And when I took the cover off, it certainly looks like it has been. So I think in actual fact, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it looks as though this whole bit here has been replaced, which I imagine means that this is a Japanese cluster that has had the miles section added here. I don't know if it reads in miles an hour, don't know if it reads in kilometers, but I didn't buy it like that, so obviously I won't sell it like that, but I will put it up as an option, probably like 40 quid or something like that, maybe even less, just to see if anyone's interested. But let's have a look at the mods. I was hoping to start with something really easy. My plan was this one, 08235 SPO44. Now this didn't look to me like legit TRD packaging, but I know I've been buying stuff for years, so I had to, let me show you it. Now it's a black metal TRD logo with these 2 clips on it. Now I thought, looking at that, I'm not convinced. But then, thankfully, the internet, all the way back from 2012, if you scroll down, look at that number, SPO44, upside down, 0825 SPO44, Keyring black metal, and you scroll all the way down, there it is. So luckily, it was legit, because I was seriously thinking that I was, that wasn't real, but apparently it is, just from 2012. So there's my 13-year-old keyring that's finally getting an outing. So there's no way I'm going to do this with one hand, so I'll show you it when it's on. Looking at it like that now, kind of looks a bit empty. So I might take this off, this ring, whack it on that one. because unfortunately that clip will not go through that hole. Yeah, I think that's better. And then I can always use that as a hang anyway. Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to stick with that. Now, onto something hopefully not too much more taxing, but I'm heading back to my Verus engineering box. And my plan is to do this black card here, or at least this little black bit down here. This is, as they call it, the fuel starvation door. So it's only a little bit, only a little item, as you can see, tiny little piece. And I probably should have done it when I was taking the seats out to do the sound system, but as it's a bit cold today and I don't want to be in here too long, I'll get the fuel pump fuse removed and then get started. For reference, the fuel pump fuse is there. See that 20 amp right in the middle? Yeah, 20 amp F pump. It's actually this little yellowy green one here. So you pull that out and then the fuel pump should then be disengaged. Right, not the easiest position to be in, I must admit, but I thought it might give you a better view of what's going on here. So, took the 10mm out of here, as you can see, which obviously then releases the swab. And then got a few tools here to lift this little puppy, which is where the fuel pump is. Being cold, it's not the easiest to remove because it's all stuck down. It's coming though. Oh. There we go. Right, so I've removed the fuse. I've also opened the fuel filler neck and took the cap off just to release any extra pressure. But when you get this off, you're greeted with this here. So you've got your plug, which is this one, just a quick, hopefully, quick pinch and lift. Are they ever? There we go. And then this should sit out the way. And then you've got your fuel connector, which is just here, which if you pinch the two sides there, you should be able to pull it off. And there's a couple of drips, but nothing major. Let me show you that with the other camera. So the plug was just connected in there, which is just this one, and that you just squeeze those two bits together and this pops off. And then you've got this blue line here, which we've got to meet up again afterwards. And then some people use a screwdriver. I've got a extension, just thought it was a bit flatter. Can obviously hit it with either end, and then you just take that off and then the basket should come out. I think it's moving. Just about. There we go. and then that undoes. Let's get these out of the way. Oh. Oh. It's a big thread. There we go. Right. Make sure you keep that green gasket. Oh. And then slowly lift this out of the way. And then there's another connector just in there. There we go. Oh, finally. And then the basket, which you can't see because I knocked the camera, the basket comes out as one. Now with it on the bench, it's a little easier to see. This was what I was having a bit of trouble with, trying to get that together. But then to remove this from this basket where we've got to put the door, you simply grab a pair of pliers. I say simply, it never goes simply. You push it down and it exposes this circlip. And you just pull that off, put it to the side so you don't drop it. And then this should, isn't should a fun word, come out. There we go. Right, and then that piece will just move out the way. Now the access port we need, the bit we need to access is down there. So if I just get a longer pair of needle nose pliers, and the phone, I'll show you where it's got to go. It is very difficult to see actually, but just down here, that is one of the holes that it fits into, and you can just see the other one just in the middle of frame there. It's just down there. So I need to grab this with the pliers. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this. Can you see in there? And then this just slots right down there, like that. Let me try and get a better view of it. You could probably just see it just down here, this little black bit. And then with the pliers, push it and it clicks in place. And then hopefully you can see it moving as I tilt the camera. Oh, where is it there? See it? The little flap just there. And that is that work done. So then we just have to put this back together. Make sure you put the spring on first. Get these lined up with the holes they have to slot in. And then make sure you line up, there we go, the hole there. And then as you press down, this comes back out again. So if I just get my circlip back, oh, or not, there we go. Got my circlip and my gloves. There we are. Right, push that back down. Of course it's unlined again. There we go. And I've dropped the circlip. Okay, push that down. Get your circlip. Push it on. Click it home. There we go. And then the box is one unit again. And then it's just a case of reversing that. So let's get this back in the bit in the cart, and off we go. It is hard to put into words just how horrible that was, but we finally got there. I may need a chiropractor appointment after, but you can probably just about see the blue faded lines all line up. And it's best if you put this on where you think that blue line should land. So put it down like that, twist the whole thing. It takes about 2 rotations to get stuck in. Then make sure you put your fuel line back on. And we got the cap, the connector there on the cap that just fits back in here. And then push this whole thing down. But wow, that was sincerely horrendous. Never want to do that again. It was really difficult because you have to make sure that the seal, the black seal that goes around the top of the bucket, is completely down all the way around, so there's no leaks. And on top of that, you also have to make sure that the springs are compressed before you get this onto the first notch of the rotation. So all in all, not the most fun I've ever had, but hopefully done. So let's connect this back up. Sorry if it's upside down. And put this back on top. As you can see, there was a little bit of petrol spillage, hence why that looks a lot less painty than that. But I'll give this a clean up before I put the seat back. And then I will just pop this back in. Yeah, so that's on. Close that. Round to the front. Grab this. Those can live back in there. And then fight all my OCD and put that back in where it was, upside down. And then hopefully should be able to go for a start. And we'll know it's worked if we get fuel. I mean, the starvation isn't going to be obvious, but let's see. Whew. Any errors? No, other than it being cold and me not having a seatbelt on and the doors open. Whew. Sign off. I'm done in. That should have been easy. That was supposed to be a nice little easy job, just to go with spending 2 hours looking for that key ring in the house, which I couldn't find. But fuel door's done, so no fuel starvation. Not that I plan on doing any hard bank curves, but sometimes it's nice just to do a preliminary thing just to be safe. Let's getting close now, around about 50 days left before registration on the 2nd of March. So the next one will probably be maintenance, as you can probably imagine, just going around checking the lights, doing the oil, air filter, etc, etc. But yeah, thank you for watching the show, thanks for sticking with me. Hope to see you again next time. Please like and subscribe and all that business. Questions, please fire away, happy to help. And Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.